It's bunya nut season. It's not a huge season like it was last year in 2022, but even one bunya nut is a bountiful harvest. So this is a little video about how to process bunya nuts ready for use. Bunya nuts are huge. You don't want to, if you're planting bunya nuts, don't plant them anywhere where the cones are going to fall on somebody's head or somebody's car or even somebody's roof, because they make an awful mess of a car's windscreen if they fall on it. But by being huge, what they also yield is a huge quantity of food in one bunya nut. So the first idea is that a good thing to do with bunya nuts is what the Aboriginal people did with them, which was have a party, get a few people together to process them, because you'll be, if you have even more than one bunya nut, you'll be well and truly over harvesting by the time you get through them. The first stage is to separate the nuts themselves from the cone, and here you can see me doing this. It's quite easy, quite fast. You just pull the nuts out of their little shell. The next thing you want to do with them, you can roast them, but for most purposes, the best thing to do with them is to boil or pressure cook them. If you've got a pressure cooker, then pressure cooking them is a lot faster than boiling them, but you can boil them. Boil them for 40 minutes or so to get them to open up. You know when your bunya nuts are ready because they split open at the tip, like you can see in this picture. Bunya nuts are really hard outer casing, and you'll see on the internet, they'll see lots of ingenious tools that people have invented to split them open. If you've got a lot of bunya nuts to harvest or you harvest them regularly, then ingenious tools are a good idea. But if you've only got one or two and you're just learning how to use them, they're not hard to deal with, just with a good, sharp, heavy knife and the end of a teaspoon. The trick is if you lodge your knife in that open tip and push down with your knife, they open up quite easily. You want to keep your fingers well out of the way. As you can see in this video, I didn't keep my fingers quite well enough out of the way. Then you can just fairly easily scoop them out with the end of a spoon. Once you have your bunya nuts out of their shell, there's any number of things you can do with them. One of the things I like to do is to dehydrate them and then put them through a fairly strong food processor and sieve the result, and you get two products. One is this coarse meal like this that's a bit like breadcrumbs. You can use it anywhere you'd use breadcrumbs or add it to biscuits or crackers. The other is this fine flour that you can use the way you would use flour. I add both these kinds of meal, both the breadcrumby sort and the flour sort, to the mix I use to make crackers with. This mix has linseeds and sunflower seeds and a bit of almond flour, and I add the bunya nut meal, both the coarse kind and the fine kind, and then just roll it out and bake it, and it turns into crackers that are really good for carrying cheese and tomato and lunchtime things. The bunyas also make really good pasta. Here I am blending the cooked bunya nuts with an egg and a little bit of salt to make a pasta dough. It's good to add a bit of wheat flour to it, otherwise the pasta tends to be very fragile and break apart a bit too easily. But with a little bit of wheat flour added to the pasta dough, they can be turned into a really good fettuccine that can then be dried or frozen and for storage. And it's a really nice tasting, nutty flavoured pasta. To go with your fettuccine, bunya nuts make a really, really nice pesto. The recipe is just cooked bunya nuts, lots and lots of basil, bit of garlic, a little bit of lemon juice, pinch of salt, bit of parmesan, enough olive oil to make it the right texture, and it makes a really nice pesto that you can use in all the ways you use pesto, including it freezes quite well. One of my very best recipes, favourite recipes to do with bunya nuts is to make them into falafels. This is just cooked bunya nuts with an onion, bit of garlic, lots of parsley, a green chilli, a bit of dukkha or cumin, your choice of spices, pinch of salt. You might need to add a bit of water to make it squeeze together into a nice patty. No eggs, no flours. You're looking for this kind of texture that it will squeeze together so it doesn't lose bits as you shallow fry it in some nice olive oil until it goes crispy on the outside, moist in the middle. Very, very delicious. One of the best things to do with it, I think. So that's just a few ideas of things you can do with bunya nuts. Once you've got the concept, there's any number of recipes that you can adapt to use them. They're a wonderful, prolific food source, high protein, low glycemic index, and when they're in a bountiful season, they're so bountiful, they're a real party food.